My best friend stole my fiancé at our engagement party, so I married her father 7 days later. That's not the kind of story you hear every day, right? But trust me, what happened next will make your jaw drop. My name is Emma. I was 29 years old, living my dream life in Miami. I had built my own event planning company from scratch, and business was booming. I thought I had everything: success, friends, and love. Especially love. Jason was the man of my dreams. Tall, charming, with a smile that could melt glaciers. We had been together for 3 years, and he had just proposed to me in the most romantic way possible on a yacht under the fireworks. I said yes, tears streaming down my face, convinced this was the beginning of forever. And my best friend, Chloe, she was there that night too, cheering, hugging me, crying happy tears, or so I thought. We had been inseparable since college. She was the sister I never had. We shared secrets, dreams, and now she was helping me plan the most important day of my life, my engagement party. Little did I know, she wasn't just planning the party. She was planning something else, something that would shatter everything I believed about friendship and love. Stay with me, because what I discovered that night changed my life forever. The engagement party was set to be perfect. A luxurious rooftop overlooking the ocean, fairy lights twinkling like stars, champagne towers, and a live jazz band. Chloe had insisted on handling every detail. "Emma, this will be the most magical night of your life," she said, giving me that warm smile I trusted. And why wouldn't I trust her? She was my maid of honor, my ride or die. Jason seemed just as excited, or maybe distracted. Looking back now, the signs were there. He was spending a lot of time texting. Every time I asked, he'd say, "Work stuff, babe." And I believed him, because why wouldn't I? The day of the party, Chloe came over early. She looked stunning in a black floral dress that hugged her every curve. I laughed and teased her. "Trying to steal the spotlight?" I joked. He winked. "Just making sure your photos look good with me in them." By 8 p.m., the party was in full swing. Guests mingled, music floated in the air, and everyone kept saying how lucky I was to have a fiancé like Jason and a best friend like Chloe. I believed them. Until I noticed something strange. It started small. Jason and Chloe laughing a little too hard in the corner, whispering to each other like they had their own private joke. At first, I brushed it off. They were friends too, after all. But then, when I looked for Jason to introduce him to a client, Chloe said, "Oh, he stepped out for a bit." Stepped out? In the middle of our engagement party? That didn't make sense. I tried to ignore the knot forming in my stomach. But as the night went on, I couldn't ignore the fact that they kept disappearing. First 10 minutes, then 20. Finally, I told myself I was overreacting. "Emma, you're stressed. You're imagining things." That's what I kept saying. Until I walked into the private lounge and saw something I will never forget. There they were, my fiancé and my best friend, locked in a passionate kiss like they were the only two people in the world. I froze. The champagne glass slipped from my hand and shattered on the marble floor. They jumped apart, but it was too late. I had seen everything. "Emma," Jason started, his face pale. But before he could say another word, Chloe smirked, and whispered, "Guess he picked the better woman." The humiliation, the rage, the heartbreak, they hit me all at once. Out there, our guests were raising glasses to us, cheering for a love that had just died. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just walked out, leading them behind. And as I stared at the Miami skyline that night, one thought burned in my mind. You will both regret this. For 3 days, I said nothing. I didn't answer Jason's calls. I didn't text Chloe back. I went completely silent because I was planning. On day 4, I walked into the Beaumont Hotel where Chloe's billionaire father, Richard Beaumont, was staying. He was 58, powerful, and widowed. And he had always been fond of me. I walked into the bar wearing my red silk dress. His eyes lit up when he saw me. Emma, what a surprise. We talked, we laughed, and by the end of the night, I had him wrapped around my finger. 7 days later, the internet exploded. Photos of me in a white designer gown, standing next to Richard in his custom Armani suit. We were married, closed comments section, a war zone. Jason, blocked. And the best part, Richard gifted me 30% of his company as a wedding present. Chloe's family empire, now partly mine. The first time I saw her after the wedding, I leaned in and whispered, "Guess I picked the better man." Life after that was bliss. Richard treated me like a queen. I launched a charity foundation. I traveled the world. And Chloe, she and Jason didn't last. Turns out, two snakes can't share the same hole for long. They broke up after 3 months, both broke, both bitter. As for me, I never looked back. Sometimes revenge isn't about screaming or fighting. It's about rising so high that the people who hurt you can't even reach your shadow. Subscribe to SilkMirror for more stories where betrayal meets poetic justice.